Hello, my lords and ladies, and welcome to another episode of our Warhammer Quest Darkwater, where we had a timeline to finish this back in March, and we are still a ways away. I know, it's the problem with having too much plastic. You just start painting other stuff and then forget to go back to it. But here we are, painting a Blight Templar. First off, I want to say thank you to all my YouTube members. You obviously will get early access to this on Sunday. This will be Friday's video, so 5 days early access. Yeah, you guys. If you're new to the channel, hit that subscribe button. But without further ado, let's go. All right, the first thing you are obviously going to do is build your miniature, and then we are going to spray paint it in black. I also did put some Stirland Mud down before spray painting it. Spray paint it all in black, and then we are going to do a white from above. So there is mostly white, but there is some tones of darkness under that white, and that's what we are looking for. So the first color we're going to be doing is some Runelord Brass. Now there is a lot of armor and certain spots you don't want to hit. So once this clip is done, I will do a spin around, and you can pause it to see which spot you should be getting and which you should not be getting. All right, for the under breeches and other areas, we're going to be doing some Black Legion. Black Legion as the darker version between the two black contrast paints. So if you want something to be black, very dark, we're going to use Black Legion, and that's what you're doing here. So a lot of the undergarment areas we're going to be painting with this. So use a small brush. Do not use a large brush on this unless you got some wicked good skills. Obviously, I don't, but you may. All right, for the front little loincloth that is coming down, we're going to be doing some Sigvald Burbundy. Make sure you get the front and on the back when you're looking from behind it, as you can see right here. All right, so this next part you want to do fairly quickly. Not this specific thing I'm painting right now, but for the antlers. So hit the entirety of both antlers with this skeleton horde. And then what you're going to do is take some Cygor Brown on your brush, and you're going to put it at the base. And the key to this is don't let it dry, and get your brush wet or damp, and mix the two colors together. So I'm rinsing off my brush, and then I am fixing that spot that I just got too much of that Cygor Brown on, and then you're just kind of working those two colors in together to create that gradient of color. So not too hard, but you just got to be quick on it. For the wraps around this giant mace with the two instruments of death, I don't know what they are, Morning Star, Falling Star, one of the two stars. We're going to do some Cygor Brown on that as well. For the gloves, we are going to do some Dark Angels green. I know what you're probably thinking, There's no way this matches the art. It is either online or in the box, and you would be 100% correct. But we're going to do a little method on this thing. They do have some green undertones, and this is an easy way to create those green undertones without doing a whole bunch of highlighting. So paint those two gloves with that Dark Angels green, and trust me. For that Nurgle disgustingness on there, we're going to take some Gulliman's Flesh and paint that little Nurgle, whatever creature it is. All right, so your gloves should be dry by now, and what you want to do is paint over it with some Black Templar. This will still be dark, but have those green undertones on there. And you can see those right there. They turn out pretty good. For the eyes on our little Nurgling creature, we're going to take some Nazdrag Yellow, just real quick. Paint those eyes up, and we'll highlight that rest of that thing up a little later. All right, for another vast majority of this miniature is with some metallics. So we are going to do some Iron Warriors onto those pauldrons and a lot of the other areas that you'll see. So this is kind of a long clip, just follow along. Obviously you're going to want to get the metallics on the chains and then on the balls with the spikes come out of them as well. And for our last base color, we're going to take some type of gold. This is Balthazar gold that I obviously didn't mix that well. We're going to put that onto some of our little areas that are sticking out. So the front on that right pauldron, and then on that little, I don't know what it is, that thing right there. Yep. And let these dry, and we'll do on to the wash step. All right, the secret to painting Nurgle's armor is this. We are using some Militarium Green and Lahmian Medium, 50-50 mix, so equal amounts, and we are putting that all over that Runelord Brass to make it that green armor. Now you don't want it to pool, you just want to get it on there and start moving that paint around, and you want to cover all of that Runelord Brass. This is the key to painting this type of armor on Nurgles. It is the most effective way I have found to paint Nurgles and make them look very gross. We'll highlight it up just here in a little bit. All right, for all of our silver metallic areas, you can even put this over the gold areas as well that we already painted. We're going to be doing some Nulin Oil. Just be cognizant of this. Try your hardest not to get it onto that green armor that we just went over. And you can already probably notice that it's about dry anyways. Just go over those areas and get some depth in there. We're going to take some water down. I just took some Caribou Crimson and put some water in there on my wet palette and just kind of mushing it into our little Nurgle creature thingy here. And then the last thing we're going to do is you're going to notice that obviously we never painted the flesh of the Nurgle underneath that helmet. But we're going to take some Mortarian Grime and just put that onto the white and let it sit there. And that's it. All right, once your washes are dry, this should be dry, the armor. We're going to be doing some edge highlighting with some Canoptek Alloy. I think this step is non-negotiable, meaning it adds so much depth to that armor that I feel like you have to do it. So I'm just going through and I'm picking out all of the edges for that armor. It adds so much pop and flavor, and it really makes the miniature stand out. So I think it is worth the time to do. So any edge that you do see, just scrape it with a very thin brush. And it might not look good at first, but when you look at the totality of the actual miniature, once you've done all of the edging, man, does it look good. I feel like that is kind of the focal point. The focal point is the armor of this miniature, and that's what people see. So if you take that just a little extra time and do that, it really, really makes it stand out. All right, you'll probably notice on those gloves that little bit of green is sticking through. We're just going to take a little bit of warp stone glow, and you're going to want to keep this color out because we're going to use it in a little bit. And we're just picking out little areas, little raised areas on the gloves, the knuckles, and it looks a little bright when you put it on, but it will dry, and it does kind of blend into that black undertone. It just gives you a little bit more depth on those gloves, and that's all we're looking for right there. All right, for our little Nurgling creature, I don't know what this is. And I'm going to admit, I don't really know anything about Nurgles besides they look cool. And they are extremely fun to paint because they're so grimy and dirty that you can make it dirty and grimy and just make it look like a Nurgle. But we're going to pick out some of those raised areas on the skin with some of that Flayed Flesh. And that's all we're going to do for that. All right, so following the art provided online, we are going to take some Ryza Rust and we are going to do some dry brushing and some stippling. You can do as little as you want or you can do as much as you want. I did a decent chunk. Looking at the pictures online from Warhammer.com, it is pretty rusty. Nurgles are gross creatures. So I'm just making this thing fairly rusty with that Ryza Rust, obviously. All right, the miniature itself is done, in my opinion, so we're going to move on to the base. This is how I'm going to do my base for the Blight Templars, but you can do whatever you want. So I'm going to take some Cygor Brown straight out of the pot, not thinging it whatsoever. I'm going to put that onto the base. While that Cygor Brown is drying, it's going to take a hot minute. I'm going to do the rim of the base with Abaddon Black. Again, you can do whatever color you want, but I'm doing Abaddon Black. For the little Nurgling green areas, I'm going to take some of that Warpstone glow that I told you to keep out. And I'm just going to put a puddle down. Any way you want to do it, doesn't really matter. And then once that's dry, you can start putting on some of that Nurgles Rot, which is a technical paint from Citadel, and start working it into that green. Obviously, I didn't let that Warpstone glow dry enough, but that green ooze will sit on top with that disgusting green undertone, and it'll look pretty good, actually. And that's it. That's all she wrote for, should be the second out of third Blight Templar we have to paint. I think it turned out, really good. We're not going to win an award with it, but nothing on this channel is, because that's not what we're looking for. We're not trying to win the golden brush or whatever it is. We're just trying to get our miniatures on the table and make them look good. So I want to say thank you to all my YouTube members. Can't thank you guys enough. You guys are absolutely amazing. All the subscribers, anybody who shares this video with anybody, posts it in a forum, sends it to a friend. I can't thank you guys enough as we're trying to continually grow the channel to our unobtainable 100,000 that we're shooting for. Maybe one day. I got a lot more Warhammer coming up. Got a lot of Chronicles of Drunagar still to do. Moonstone, Hawk RPG. We have a ton of stuff that we need to get going. So stay tuned. Hit that subscribe button. I love you all, and I will see you on the next one. All right. Paint on.